Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight, maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. Hello, and welcome to our quiet corner of the cosmos. Settle in. Find your most comfortable spot, and let the gentle hum of the universe lull you into a state of peace. Tonight, we're going on a very special journey. A journey not through space in a rushing starship, but through the soft, quiet corners of imagination and possibility. We're going to discover a place that holds all the stories that have ever been, and all the stories yet to unfold. A place called the Whispering Library of the Cosmos. Imagine, if you will, a world bathed in the soft glow of twin moons. This is the planet Lumina. Not a bustling, noisy place, but one of gentle light and quiet contemplation. The people of Lumina were known for their deep love of knowledge and their beautiful, sprawling libraries. Towers of shimmering crystal held data scrolls filled with histories and sciences. Gardens of luminescent plants encoded poems in their leaves. It was a world dedicated to learning in every radiant form. But even on a world so devoted to knowledge, there was one soul who felt there was more. Her name was Elara. Elara wasn't like the other scholars who pored over ancient texts or programmed the crystal archives. Elara listened. She had a peculiar gift, or perhaps it was a gentle sensitivity. She could hear things others couldn't. Not sounds exactly, but whispers. Faint, ephemeral, like the brushing of a moth's wing against a star. These whispers weren't random noise. They were fragmented words, fleeting images, snippets of feelings. They spoke of places not in Lumina's archives, of beings unknown, of colors never seen under Lumina's moons. They felt like pieces of stories, vast, ancient, beautiful stories, just out of reach. The other scholars, kind as they were, didn't understand. "Elara," they'd say gently, "those are just the solar winds playing tricks." Or, "Perhaps you've been reading too many of the old starlight poems again." They meant well, of course. In their world, knowledge was tangible. It was written, recorded, shared. Whispers. Whispers were just air. But Elara knew. She felt it deep in her soul, a quiet certainty. These weren't tricks of the wind. These were echoes. Echoes of knowledge, echoes of stories, echoing from somewhere, far away. And she felt a gentle longing, a quiet ache in her chest, to understand where they came from. She wanted to gather these whispers, to piece them together, to find the source of this gentle, cosmic murmur. Her days were spent in the quiet corners of Lumina's great libraries, not reading, but listening. She'd sit by open star windows, feeling the cool, gentle breeze, trying to isolate the whispers from the natural sounds of the planet. Sometimes she'd catch a phrase, the mountain that sighed in lavender hues, or the creature who wore starlight as a cloak, or a feeling like warm rain on a forgotten planet. These fragments were beautiful, but frustratingly incomplete. They were like single notes from a symphony she couldn't hear. And the longing within her grew, though it was never a painful longing, more a soft, insistent call. It was a call to discovery. One night, as the twin moons cast long, silvery shadows, Elara was sitting by the oldest part of the Great Archive, a section filled with dusty, forgotten scrolls that even the data crystals hadn't fully absorbed yet. The whispers that night were different, stronger, more focused. They seemed to be coming from within. The archive itself, from the very fabric of the old building. She closed her eyes, focusing all her gentle attention. The whispers coalesced, forming a faint, shimmering path of sound and feeling. It led her away from the main halls, down forgotten corridors, past shelves heavy with the weight of centuries of knowledge. The air grew cooler, stiller. The only sound was the soft scuff of her own feet and the ethereal murmur guiding her. The path led her to a small, unassuming door, hidden behind a cascade of ancient, uncatalogued data scrolls. It looked plain, made of dark, polished wood, unlike the shimmering crystal of the rest of the archive. But the whispers were strongest here, humming with a gentle energy. With a deep breath, Elara reached out and touched the door. It felt warm, almost alive. There was no handle, no lock. Hesitantly, she pushed. The door swung open silently, not into another room, but into something else entirely. It was dark at first, but not an empty darkness. It was a darkness filled with tiny points of light, like standing inside a velvet box dusted with cosmic glitter. And the whispers. Oh, the whispers were everywhere here. They swirled around her, soft and distinct, weaving together like threads of pure thought. "Welcome," they seemed to murmur collectively. "Listener." Elara stepped through the doorway and it dissolved behind her, not closing, but simply ceasing to be there. She wasn't scared. How could she be when the feeling in this place was one of such profound calm and gentleness? She looked around. This wasn't a room or even a building. She was standing on nothing? Or perhaps on something that felt like solid ground but was made of moonlight and possibility. The sky above her wasn't sky at all, but a swirling tapestry of soft colors, gentle blues, warm golds, soft purples. And within this tapestry, the points of light weren't just stars, they were words. or ideas, or snippets of memories. The whispers intensified, wrapping around her like a soft, cosmic blanket. They weren't just fragments here. They were fuller, richer. They spoke of nebulae that sang lullabies to infant stars, of planets where dreams bloomed like flowers, of creatures made entirely of laughter. This was it. This was the source. This was the whispering library of the cosmos. But it wasn't a library with books and shelves. It was a place of pure story. The stories weren't written down. They were. They existed as swirling currents of energy, as constellations of consciousness, as rivers of resonant memory. And floating near her, shimmering with iridescent light, was a small creature about the size of her hand. It had delicate wings that seemed to be woven from moonlight and forgotten smiles, and large, curious eyes that sparkled like distant galaxies. It fluttered closer, emitting a soft, melodic, chittering sound that somehow translated directly into her mind. Ah, a new listener. The sound, the thought, resonated gently. We've been expecting you. The whispers grew louder near Lumina lately. We knew someone sensitive enough would eventually follow. Ilara, still slightly awestruck, managed a soft voice. You knew. What is this place? Are you... The creature hovered playfully, its wings catching the ambient light. This, dear listener, is the heart of the whispers. Some call it the cosmic resonator, others the memory sphere. The whispering library of the cosmos is rather charming. We might adopt that. And as for us, it paused, tilting its head. We are flicker, or sometimes glint, or perhaps spark. We answer to the feeling of recognition. We are a custodian of the lost and found tales. Flicker, or whatever name felt right, was utterly delightful. Its presence was warm and comforting, like a mug of warm star milk on a cool evening. You followed the whispers. Flicker continued, circling Ilara gently. Many hear them but dismiss them. Too faint, too strange, not real knowledge. But the most profound knowledge, the kind that nourishes the soul, it often begins as a whisper, doesn't it? A gentle hint of a possibility. Ilara nodded, her heart swelling with understanding. That was exactly what she had felt. A gentle hint, a possibility that grew into a quest. This library. Flicker gestured with a tiny translucent appendage towards the swirling cosmos around them. Is not built. It simply is. It is the collective consciousness of the cosmos, the memories of stars and planets, the dreams of every living being, the stories carried on solar winds and embedded in nebulae. Every thought, every feeling, every moment of beauty or struggle, it leaves an echo. And these echoes, well, they become stories here. Flicker led Ilara gently through the shimmering expanse. It wasn't walking, not really. It was more like drifting, propelled by a gentle current of pure thought. As they moved, the whispers changed, becoming clearer, richer, more vivid. Flickers would occasionally stop near a particularly bright cluster of light, a story. Ah, this one. It would resonate. This is the tale of the planet where the inhabitants communicated entirely through color. Every emotion, every idea, every greeting was a different hue or pattern. Imagine saying, "I love you," with a burst of iridescent violet and soft gold. As Flicker spoke, the surrounding light cluster would pulse and shift, and Ilara would feel the story washing over her. Not just intellectually understanding it, but experiencing it. She felt the vibrant joy of the color speakers, the nuanced elegance of their communication. It was a feeling so rich and profound, it made Lumina's dusty scrolls feel a little less vibrant. And this one. Flicker moved on, nudging a swirling nebula of soft, gray light. This is the story of the creature from the void between galaxies, who spent its entire existence collecting lullabies. It would listen to the soft songs sung to sleeping infants across countless worlds and weave them into a symphony of cosmic comfort. It believed that every soul, no matter how big or small, deserved a gentle song to rest by. Alara felt a wave of profound peace wash over her as she connected with this story. She could almost hear the gentle, interwoven melodies, a chorus of lullabies from every corner of existence. It was heartbreakingly beautiful and deeply soothing. This was the kind of knowledge that healed, that nourished the soul, that eased anxiety simply by reminding you of the vast, gentle kindness hidden within the universe. They drifted past stories of planets that danced in complex orbital ballets, of beings who communicated with plants, of civilizations that built cities out of solidified starlight. Each story was a universe in itself, waiting to be explored, not with eyes but with the heart and the listening soul. Alara realized something profound. The whispers she had heard on Lumina weren't just echoes from this place, they were invitations, gentle calls to come and listen more deeply. But why whispers? She asked Flicker, the thought forming softly in her mind. Why not loud, clear voices? Why are the stories here so gentle? Flicker hovered thoughtfully for a moment. A wise question, listener. The library speaks in whispers because it requires a different kind of attention. Loud voices demand. Whispers invite. They ask you to slow down, to quiet the noise in your own mind, to truly listen. The knowledge here isn't meant to be consumed quickly or argued over. It's meant to be felt, absorbed, integrated gently. It's like the difference between a hurried meal and a long, slow sip of something warm and comforting. The whispers, they are the universe sharing its deepest secrets, but only with those willing to lean in and listen with an open heart. Alara understood completely. This was why the scholars on Lumina couldn't hear them. They were brilliant, but they were used to declarations of knowledge, to facts and figures, to loud, clear data. They hadn't learned the art of gentle listening. Her own journey here had been a process of learning to trust the faint sounds, to value the subtle over the obvious. It had been a journey of quieting her own internal chatter so she could hear the universe's soft, melodic voice. As she spent what felt like hours, though time seemed to flow differently here, like slow-moving rivers of starlight, drifting through the library, she felt a sense of deep peace settling over her. The quiet ache of longing that had been in her chest for so long simply dissolved. She wasn't incomplete. She had just been listening for the right frequency. Here, surrounded by the gentle hum of countless stories, she felt profoundly whole, connected to everything. She thought of the people on Lumina, the kind scholars who were missing out on this incredible, soul-nourishing wealth of knowledge. How could she share this with them? The library wasn't a place she could bring them physically. It seemed woven from a different kind of reality. And the knowledge wasn't in books she could carry back. Flicker seemed to sense her thoughts. You cannot bring the library to them, listener. It resonated gently. But you can bring the listening. You have learned how to hear the whispers. Now you can help others learn too. The doorway you came through, it is always there for those who know how to find it and who are ready to listen. Alara realized the truth of Flicker's words. Her task wasn't to transplant the library, but to teach the art of listening. To show others that knowledge wasn't just in what you could see and touch, but in what you could gently hear and feel. The feeling of peace within her wasn't just for her anymore. It was something she wanted to share. She wanted everyone to feel this profound connection, this gentle comfort that came from knowing you were part of such a vast, beautiful, storytelling cosmos. As the gentle currents of the library began to softly shift, Alara felt a sense that her time in this core place was coming to a natural close for now. Flicker drifted closer, its iridescent wings shimmering softly. "You are always welcome here, listener." Flicker resonated, its voice thought full of warmth. The library is infinite, and its whispers are eternal. Go back, share the stillness you have found. Teach the beauty of quiet listening. The universe has so many stories to tell, and every soul deserves to hear them. Alara smiled, a soft, peaceful smile. Thank you, Flicker. Thank you for helping me find this place. Thank you for helping me listen. She felt a gentle pull, not forceful, but like a soft tide guiding her. The swirling colors of the library began to resolve, to coalesce, and then she was back. Back in the quiet, dusty corner of the great archive on Lumina. The unassuming dark wooden door was still there, slightly ajar. She looked around. The scrolls were still dusty. The air was still cool and still. But everything felt different. Not because the room had changed, but because she had changed. The whispers were still here, fainter than in the heart of the library, but now she could hear them with perfect clarity, even amidst the silence of the archive. They were no longer frustrating fragments, but familiar, gentle murmurs, like old friends greeting her. She touched a dusty scroll. It felt like paper, but underneath she could sense a faint echo of the story it contained, connecting it back to the vast, living library she had just visited. The knowledge held on Lumina wasn't separate from the cosmic whispers. It was just one form, one expression of it. Alara stepped back into the main archive, her movements slow and peaceful. She saw the other scholars diligently working, their faces focused on their screens and scrolls. She felt no judgment, only a deep, gentle well of compassion and a quiet desire to share the gift she had received. She didn't rush to tell them everything at once. How could she explain a place made of starlight and story essence to minds used to solid crystal data? Instead, she started small. She began spending time with the younger scholars, the ones whose minds were perhaps more open, less set in rigid patterns. She would invite them to sit with her by the star windows during the quietest hours. "Just listen," she would say softly. "Beyond the wind, beyond the planet sounds, listen for the gentle echoes, for the whispers." At first, they heard nothing, but Alara was patient. She taught them to quiet their busy minds, to let go of expectations, to simply be present and open. She shared small, gentle snippets of the feelings she carried from the library, the peace of the cosmic lullabies, the joy of the color speakers. She described the feeling of connection, of being part of something infinitely vast and gentle. Slowly, tentatively, some of them began to hear it too. a faint murmur, a fleeting image, a strange, beautiful feeling that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Their eyes would widen, not with fear, but with wonder. "Alara," one young scholar whispered, "I thought I heard like a tiny bell ringing across the stars. And I felt a warmth, like sunlight I've never felt before," said another. Alara would simply smile gently. "Yes," she would say, "keep listening. That is the beginning. The universe is speaking to you, gently." She discovered that sharing the library wasn't about transferring facts, but about transmitting a state of being, a state of quiet openness, of gentle receptivity. She helped them cultivate the inner stillness required to hear the softest sounds of the cosmos. Over time, Alara didn't become a famous scholar whose name was recorded in the crystal archives. Her impact was quieter, deeper. She became known as the whisper listener, the one who could guide you to hear the subtle music of existence. The libraries of Lumina didn't change their structure, but their atmosphere shifted. A new current of gentle curiosity began to flow through them. Scholars started to appreciate the spaces between the words, the silence where the whispers resided. They began to understand that knowledge wasn't just in the information itself, but in the resonance it held, its connection to the vast living story of the cosmos. Alara continued to visit the Whispering Library through the gentle doorway in the old archive. Each visit brought new stories, new feelings, new depths of peace and understanding. She learned that the library contained not just histories and observations, but the very essence of courage, of kindness, of resilience, of hope. These weren't things you could learn from a data scroll. They were things you felt, absorbed, and integrated into your being by simply listening to their cosmic echoes. She learned about planets that had overcome great challenges by listening to the ancient wisdom encoded in their own core. She heard the story of a species that had forgotten how to dream, and rediscovered the magic by tuning into the collective dreams of the universe stored in the library. Her anxiety, which had manifested as a quiet restlessness before she found the library, dissolved completely. How could you feel anxious when you knew you were held within such an infinite, gentle, storytelling embrace? How could you feel alone when you were connected to the consciousness of the cosmos? The Whispering Library taught her that peace wasn't a destination to be reached, but a state of being to be cultivated. It was found in the quiet moments, in the willingness to listen gently, in the understanding that you are part of something infinitely beautiful and profound. So, as we drift towards the end of Alara's story for tonight, take a moment to feel the quiet peace she found. The Whispering Library of the Cosmos is not just in the story. It's all around us, and even within us. The whispers are always there, if we only remember to listen. They are in the soft rustle of leaves, the distant sound of rain, the gentle rhythm of your own breath. They are in the quiet knowing in your heart, the gentle pull towards kindness, the flicker of inspiration. You don't need a magic door to access the gentle wisdom of the universe. You only need a quiet mind and a willingness to listen with your heart. Imagine Alara now, sitting peacefully by a star window on Lumina, her eyes closed, a gentle smile on her face. She is listening to the whispers of the cosmos, hearing stories of peace, of wonder, of connection. And know that you can listen too. Right here, right now. Feel your body settling down, becoming heavy and relaxed. Sink deeper into your comfortable spot. Feel the gentle quiet filling the space around you and within you. Imagine those soft, cosmic whispers, not as sounds you need to strain to hear, but as feelings, gentle waves of peace washing over you. Perhaps you feel the whisper of a distant, gentle wave, washing away any tension. Perhaps you hear the whisper of a star, twinkling softly, reminding you of the light within you. Perhaps you feel the whisper of a cosmic breeze, carrying away any worries. Just listen, gently. The library is always open. Its whispers are always there, waiting for you, waiting to share stories of peace, of comfort, of deep, deep rest. Alara found her peace by learning to listen, and you can find yours too. Just breathe gently and listen to the soft whispers of the cosmos, inviting you to let go, to relax, to drift into a peaceful sleep. The journey continues tomorrow night if you wish. The library has infinite stories to share. But for now, just listen and rest. Good night, gentle listener. Good night.